The next is control group stealing. Now this is something which by default, let's go back to our standard hotkeys. Oops, not default steal hotkeys. We're going to go to standard not crap hotkeys, what we were on. Now the way control group stealing works is, keep in mind, normally you have, let's say we've got our Ravagers here, and we have our Hydras, see our Roaches and Ravagers on number 2, our Hydras on, trying to remember what number 3 is on this setup. Oh, right, we're on the shitty hotkeys, aren't we? Alright, so we put those on number 3. Now, if I then add these Hydras onto number 2, cool, we've got them combined on number 2, and the Hydras are still separate on number 3. Okay. Now, what if there's a drop in my main base? Let's say my whole army's here. Okay, well, let's grab these guys, put them on number 4. That can be my drop defense squad. Send them to defend it. Awesome, that makes sense. Problem is, oh, there's another drop down the right-hand side. Select main army, send them down here. Once again, our hotkeys are convoluted. So what steal hotkeys does is it's a way of creating groups where instead of just adding it to a new hotkey, it also puts it it also tears it away from any previous hotkey or control group that the units belong on. So the way to understand this is, well, the way to change it first of all is you go to global, and by default, what these are called is create and take away units. We call them steal hotkeys because I think steal is a way of just explaining it that's very simple, it makes sense. It's the idea of when you create a control group, you take them away or you steal them from any other control group that they're already on. Now by default, this is on Alt-1, and if you want to add to control group and take away, rather than just create one from fresh, you just use Alt-Shift. Now this is something which is incredibly useful. So, I want to send these guys to defend a drop. I will go Alt-4. Now this time when I select my main army, notice it's not pulling those home. They've been completely separated. So this is a really effective way of splitting up your army. Let's say, let's say you've got a whole bunch of Zerglings in your army. You want to send them off to counterattack. It's not just for defense. How do you get those off your control group all of a sudden? Well, let's use that control mechanic we were talking about earlier in the game as well. So remember, control click selects all of a unit type on screen, but it also does it in the bottom display bar. So if we look down here and we say, okay, let's grab every Zergling out of my army, we can go control click on a Zergling, and then we can go Alt-5. See, I'm not using that hotkey. And now, my army doesn't have those Zerglings on it anymore, and I can use those freely to run around the map counterattacking. So the steal hotkeys are really fantastic, something which help a lot of players. Something which is quite advanced, but it's something if you can get used to using those, they will save you tons of time. It's something which I use all the time in lots of advanced scenarios. Let me show you guys on my normal hotkeys exactly how I go about this. Okay. So I've got my army, it's all together, it's all in the middle of the map. We're injecting, we're macroing, just having a standard day, doing our standard stuff. Shit, there's a drop in the main. Let's go there. Oh, there's a drop down at the 4th. You go there. I'm now controlling my army in 4 different control groups. Sorry, 3 different control groups. And notice I'm just double tapping the control group to zoom between them. I used to be one of the worst players at defending drops when I was like on the back foot, when there was shit coming in from all angles. And while I'm by no means some fucking god of defending drops or anything now, my ability to bounce back in game using a combination of camera locations and control group stealing has made my life 1,000 times easier. It's made everything so much easier. It really is beautiful.